Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I'm Yeshi Chanzong. Here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Monday, the 19th of July. Monsoon session of Indian Parliament begins with focus on COVID-19. Afghan government Taliban negotiators agree to expedite talks in Doha. And Pakistani groomers spruce up camels ahead of Muslim festival of sacrifice. And now for all the details. The monsoon session of the Indian Parliament began on a stormy note on Monday, with the opposition creating an uproar and preventing Prime Minister Narendra Modi from introducing his new cabinet ministers to the House. Both houses of the Parliament faced repeated suspensions as disruptions by the opposition parties over various issues continued. The centre has listed 17 new bills for introduction in this session. The monsoon session of the Indian Parliament began on Monday amid the coronavirus pandemic. The discussions are likely to focus on the handling of coronavirus situation during the second wave in the country, vaccination program, fuel price hike, Chinese border aggression, farmer protest and economic situation, among other issues. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, while marking the beginning of the monsoon session on Monday, said he hoped that all issues will be discussed in a healthy manner in the Parliament.
और इसलिए हम चाहते हैं कि संसद में भी इस पैंडेमिक के संबंध में सार्थक चर्चा हो, सबसे प्राथमिकता देते हुए इसकी चर्चा हो और सारे व्यवहारू सुझाव सभी माननीय सांसदों से मिले ताकि पैंडेमिक के खिलाफ लड़ाई में बहुत नयापन भी आ सकता है, कुछ कमियां रह गई हो तो उसको भी ठीक किया जा सकता है.
Later, the monsoon session took off with a rocky start as opposition created ruckus inside both the houses of the parliament, the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha, as Prime Minister Modi introduced his new cabinet ministers. As the disruptions continued over various issues despite repeated pleas by the Speaker to maintain decorum, both the houses faced repeated suspensions. PM Modi later lashed out at the opposition for creating a ruckus and preventing him from introducing newly inducted ministers, saying such a negative mindset has never been seen in Parliament. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister is likely to hold a meeting with floor leaders of all parties in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha on July 20 to discuss COVID vaccination policy. India's capital New Delhi and financial centre of Mumbai were drenched with heavy rain on Monday, a day after more than 30 people were killed across the country in landslides and house collapses triggered by downpours. The Weather Department has predicted heavy to very heavy rain in North India over the next 2 days and has also issued heavy rainfall and thunderstorm alert for Mumbai.
India's capital, New Delhi, and the main financial centre of Mumbai were drenched with heavy rain on Monday, a day after over 30 people were killed across the country in landslides and house collapses triggered by downpours. IMD, the India Meteorological Department, has predicted heavy to very heavy rain in North India, including New Delhi, over the next 2 days. On Sunday evening, at least 2 people were killed in Gurugram, bordering Delhi, after a 3-story building collapsed in the city. Meanwhile, fire officials on Monday carried out operations in parts of Mumbai to rescue people stranded due to rains. At least 33 people have been killed in incidents of house collapses after rain in Mumbai since Sunday. The IMD has issued a heavy rain and thunderstorm alert for the city and surrounding districts.
We have given red alert today, and the coming 4 days also orange alert I have given. And orange alert, though I have given, but in the coming 4 days also, heavy to very heavy rainfall with possibilities of extreme heavy rainfall is also there.
Meanwhile, at least 3 people were also killed when a house collapsed in the northern state of Uttarakhand after a downpour. India is in the midst of its annual rainy season, but the downpours over the past few days have been particularly heavy.
Moving on, Locals in Pakistan-administered Kashmir's Neelam Valley have demanded relief and assistance after several houses were left damaged following a flash flood in the illegally occupied region. They lamented they have not received any sort of help from authorities so far.
Locals in Neelam Valley of Pakistan-administered Kashmir have demanded relief and financial assistance after several houses were destroyed in the area following a cloudburst-triggered flash flood recently. Visuals showed debris of badly damaged houses, some of which had been entirely swept away and are no longer livable. Residents in the illegally occupied region lamented they had not received any assistance from authorities so far.
ये आप मुझे देख रहे हैं, मैं ये एक मकान के पीछे खड़ा हूँ जो कम से कम 500 फीट दूर से यहाँ ला के इस रेले ने छोड़ा है और इसी तरह से 14 मकानात बिल्कुल तबाह हो चुके हैं और लोगों के कोई पुरसाने हाल नहीं है। इंतज़ामिया ने इस वक्त तक यहाँ पे कोई अमदादी सरगर्मियाँ की नहीं है।
Incessant rainfall during the monsoon season causes problems like floods and landslides every year. However, locals blame the stooge government in the illegally occupied region, which operates at Islamabad's behest, has completely failed to bring about infrastructure development, and there are no provisions to mitigate the losses.
In news from Afghanistan, the Afghan government and the Taliban negotiators who met in Doha over the past weekend issued a joint statement on Sunday saying that they will meet again and expedite their peace negotiations, reports suggest. In the latest 15 diplomatic missions in Afghanistan on Monday, urged the two sides to halt offensives across the country as the peace meeting failed to produce an agreement on a ceasefire. The delegations of the Afghan government and the Taliban, which met in Doha over the past weekend, issued a joint statement on Sunday, saying that they will meet again and they have issued instructions to expedite their peace negotiations, reports suggest. The two sides committed to continue negotiations at a high level until a settlement is reached and will work to provide humanitarian assistance throughout Afghanistan, the statement said, according to Qatar's Al Jazeera TV. 2 decades of conflict has taken a turn for the worse as US-led international forces withdraw and Taliban launch offensives across Afghanistan, taking districts and border crossings while encircling provincial capitals. Negotiators have been meeting in Doha since September but have failed to make substantive progress so far. Meanwhile, on Monday, 15 diplomatic missions in Afghanistan as well as a NATO representative called for a ceasefire with the Taliban. The UN Refugee Agency estimates 270,000 Afghans have been displaced inside the country since January, bringing the number of people forced from their homes to more than 3.5 million. In news from Nepal, Nepal's new Prime Minister Sher Bahadur Deuba won a vote of confidence in Parliament on Sunday, days after the Supreme Court reinstated the legislature that was dissolved in May. 75-year-old Deuba, who has held the office 4 times before, won 165 votes, exceeding the 136 required, with 83 votes against him, Parliament Speaker Agni Sabkota said.
With a 66% majority in the lower house of Nepal Parliament, newly appointed Prime Minister Sher Bahadur Deuba will now lead the country's government till the next general elections. 75-year-old Deuba, who garnered a total of 165 votes out of 249 votes cast on Sunday during a vote of confidence in the parliament late evening, would now remain the Prime Minister until the next general elections, which are expected to be held in 2022. Deuba, the head of the centrist Nepali Congress Party, will head a coalition with former Maoist rebels and a party representing a minority community dominant on Nepal's southern plains.
अनि प्रधानमन्त्री श्री शेरबहादुर देउवाले नेपालको संविधानको धारा 76 को उपधारा 6 बमोजिम आफूमाथि प्रतिनिधि सभाको विश्वास छ भनी प्रतिनिधि सभाबाट विश्वासको मत प्राप्त गर्न राख्नु भएको प्रस्तावको पक्षमा अर्थात् हुन्छ भन्ने पक्षमा जम्मा 165 मत.
Last Monday, the Supreme Court ordered Deuba be appointed Premier in place of KP Sharma Oli. It ruled that Oli, who had been in power for 3 years, had breached the constitution by dissolving the parliament. However, Deuba still needed to win the confidence vote under the constitution. Deoba faces the immediate task of procuring vaccines and controlling the spread of COVID-19, which the government says has infected 667,109 people and killed 9,550. Fewer than 4% of the country's 30 million people have been fully vaccinated against COVID-19. More than 1.3 million people who have had a first dose of a vaccine are awaiting a second as the government scrambles to procure shots. The new government has pledged to vaccinate a third of its people in the next 3 months and every Nepali by next April.
With Eid al-Adha just around the corner, Pakistani camel groomers are busy sprucing up camels, which will be slaughtered as part of the Muslim festival of sacrifice. Meanwhile, thousands of sacrificial cattle are also making their way to Bangladeshi capital Dhaka as the country has eased coronavirus lockdown measures ahead of the festival. With Eid al-Adha just around the corner, Pakistani camel groomer Ali Hassan is busy sprucing up camels for their owners at a cattle market in Karachi, who hope that making them more attractive will fetch a higher price. Traders will be selling their camels to potential buyers for sacrifice on Eid. 50-year-old Hassan learned the art of camel grooming from his father and has been doing it since he was a child. He takes pride in some patterns, especially the more difficult ones that involve circles and curves. Meanwhile, thousands of cattle from the Bangladesh countryside are making their way to capital Dhaka as the country prepares for the Eid al-Adha to be celebrated on July 21. Ahead of the festivities, Bangladesh relaxed restrictions after a 2-week lockdown to stop the coronavirus spread. The lockdown will resume on July 23.
আল্লাহর নামে ঈদুল আজহা উপলক্ষে গরুটা কুরবানি করার জন্য আমি নূরজাহান গাবতলী বাজারে এসে গরুটা কিনেছি।
Eid al-Adha is observed by Muslims to commemorate their belief that Prophet Ibrahim was willing to sacrifice his son as an act of obedience to God before God replaced his son with a lamb to be sacrificed instead. Temple elephants in India's southern Kerala state participated in Anayutu, the ritualistic feeding ceremony at the Vadakunathan temple over the past weekend. This ceremony marks the start of a month of wellness camp for elephants at the temple that has been celebrating the ritual for close to 4 decades. A total of 15 temple elephants in India's southern Kerala state began their month-long wellness camp at Vadakunathan temple on Saturday. Eating fruits, rice sweet balls and other items, the jovial elephants were seen happily interacting with people. The elephants are ritualistically relieved from daily chores for a month-long restorative treatment called Anayutu, beginning from Saturday. Anayutu literally means feeding the elephants with specially prepared food, which is known for its high medicinal value. This medicinal concoction is regarded as vital for enhancing the well-being of elephants. The formulation is administered to the animals to protect and improve their health during the monsoon months when they are not taken for any temple processions, of which they are the essential part, and are provided with full rest. Well, that's all we have for you from South Asia this evening. Now viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNewsline.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/AsAsiaNewsline and follow us on Twitter @AsAsiaNewsline. That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time tomorrow. Good night.